Hi, I'm Kathy, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a postnatal yoga sequence that is focused on stretching the psoas muscle. That is the primary hip flexor. This area right here in front of the hips that's responsible for lifting your knee. Now, when you're caring for an infant, there's a whole lot of sitting going on. When you're feeding your baby or holding your baby for long periods of time, it can create tension in this area right here. Holding that tension, it could be uncomfortable. So in today's video, we will focus on postures to help open that area, to help stretch the psoas muscle. So as an optional prop for today, you can use a folded blanket or a folded towel and come onto your hands and knees to begin. So we have the blanket here. I'm spreading it out just to give some extra padding for the knees. Palms underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips, tops of the feet on the mat. Move into some body circles. So we're going to inhale, come forward towards the fingertips, draw a circle to the right edge of the mat, and then exhale back towards the heels. Inhale forward, exhale back, and this is primarily to warm up the hip area, the lower spine. And do a couple more. Inhale forward, exhale back. You can make these circles really big or small. And now reverse direction. So you'll pause, inhale forward, exhale back towards the heels. This time you're moving to the left side first. Return to a neutral spine and come into downward facing dog. So extend the arms forward a bit so that the wrists are diagonal to the shoulders. Curl your toes under and lift the sits bones high up to the ceiling. Press the floor away from you. Lengthen the arms. Turn the elbows or the inner elbows up. Relax through the neck and then soften the heels one at a time. Or you can even pedal the feet to warm up through the back of the legs. Keep lengthening your back. Soften the ribs. And notice how the body begins to warm up. Now soften both knees down to the mat. Come onto your fingertips and step forward with your right foot between the hands. So you have Anjaneyasana, low lunge position, guiding your right knee above the ankle. So take your hands now and bring them to your right thigh. So you're lifted in this low lunge position. One hand to your tailbone, one hand to the pubic bone. Soften the tailbone down towards the floor and lift the pubic bone. You'll feel how the psoas muscle begins to open and stretch. Now you can keep the hands on the thigh or bring the arms overhead, reach up a little higher, and again, create some more extension in that hip flexor. Soften the tailbone, take deep breaths. Press that back foot, the top of the back foot, your left foot on the mat. And now soften the hands down to the floor. Curl your left toes underneath and lift the back knee off of the mat. So now you're in a warrior prep position or runner's lunge, fingertips on the floor, open chest, and again focus that energy on the left hip, opening and lengthening. Lift your heart space, look forward. And now soften that left knee down to the mat again. You're still on the right side for Anjaneyasana. Hands to thighs. Guide your tailbone down, pubic bone up. And then bring the arms overhead again for a second opportunity into this stretch. Feeling the front of the left hip open and release. Now relax both palms on the floor. Step back with your right foot, tabletop position, and return to those body circles. Inhale forward, exhale back. Drawing circles with your hips, and you can make those circles as small or as large as you'd like. And now reverse to the other side. Return to stillness. And now step between the hands again with your left foot forward. I'll turn so you can have a better angle of my left side. So bringing that left foot forward, finding Anjaneyasana on this side, bending into that left knee, and then walk the hands up to the left thigh. One hand to the pubic bone, one hand to the tailbone. Lift your pubic bone and soften the tailbone. Notice that release again, this time on the opposite side, on the right side. Keep your hands on the thigh or reach the arms overhead. Invite your breath into any areas that feel tight or tense. Explore the space in your breath. Now release, bring the hands down to the floor, curl the right toes underneath, lift the back leg and have that back leg be really strong. Notice that length in the front of your right hip. Look forward, chest forward. Open through the hips. Now soften the right knee down to the mat. Uncurl the toes, press into your left foot. Hands come up overhead. Reach up tall. And once again, come back to that psoas stretch. Release the palms to the floor. Step back with the left leg so you're back on all fours again. Palms to the mat and the palms diagonal to the shoulders. Curl the toes under, reach up for down dog. Maybe both heels come down this time. A little more warmth in the body. Keep lifting the tailbone and push the floor away from you. Now soften onto both knees. And if you do have that padding, you can move it to the side. Return to downward facing dog. And guide your feet towards the front of the mat, towards your hands. Fold forward in Uttanasana. Relax the head down. Soften your belly over the thighs, bend the knees. And let the arms just ragdoll. Shake your head yes and no. Bring the arms out wide to the side, bend in the knees flat back. As you come all the way up, look up at your fingertips, hands to heart center, and come back to standing. So moving towards the center of your mat, I will use this shelf here as extra support, but you don't really need to hold on to a wall or a shelf. It's really just there if you wanted that extra support for your balance. Sometimes even in postnatal, you can still be a little bit off balance as you reorganize your body, as everything comes back and rebuilds. So this is a gentle king dancer. Lean onto your left foot. Place your left hand beside you or onto your shelf, your support. Bring that right heel in and hold the outside of the foot. Press the hips forward and feel the front of your right hip open. Now you can also, if you want a shoulder opener too, to get two things at once, take your right hand on the inside of the foot. and open the right shoulder. Knees together or soft, both knees bent. And for that extra challenge in your balance, you can take the left hand overhead. Focus your attention on a spot that's not moving. And take deep breaths. Keep pressing the pelvis forward. And then soften your left hand. Release that right foot slowly. Come back to standing and switch to the other side. So we have right hand either on your support or by your side. Press into your right foot. Take your left foot in your hand and bring that left heel to your glute. Soften both knees. Press the hips forward. Stay here or lift that right arm overhead. Remember, you can also open the shoulder by holding the inside of the left foot. Keep your gaze on a focal point. Now release the right hand, soften the left foot to the mat. Come back to standing. Rotate both wrists and rotate both ankles. Stand tall for just a moment, Tadasana Mountain Pose. Deep breath in, slow breath out, grounded through the feet. Connecting to the floor again on the inhale, reach up overhead, exhale, fold, bend at the knees and at the hip creases. Place fingertips on the floor, take one knee down at a time. Ustrasana, Camel Pose. Padding for the knees might be helpful. You can even do double padding for this if the knees are sensitive. Kind of like that double padding. So you have the knees underneath the hips. You're standing on the knees and tops of the feet on the mat. You can keep the feet this way, or for more support, curl the toes under. I'm going to give you a little more. We're only going to do a gentle Ustrasana or a camel. So taking the palms to the lower spine, and imagine that you're putting your hands inside jean pockets. Take the elbows back, open the chest. Inhale. On the exhale, press the hips forward. And as you open the front body, only back bend from the top, the upper half of the spine, so above your bra line. Keep lifting the heart up, and you can press the front of the hips even more forward, but make sure to guide your pubic bone up slightly to support your lower back. Look up in a diagonal direction. So not straight back at the sky, but a little more like a diagonal. Breathe into the chest. Take the elbows back. And then release. Bring the shoulders over the hips again. Uncurl the toes. Arms down by your side. And now sit on the heels. Just for a couple of breaths. For our last posture, coming down into constructive rest. You can place your blanket to the side, or maybe use it underneath the head for extra padding. Come over into fetal position and then roll onto the spine. Take the knees together, heel toe the feet apart. So the feet will be as wide as your mat. And then the palms can either rest down towards the floor or up in a receiving gesture. Now in this constructive rest with the knees together and feet apart, you'll feel a release in the front of the hips. You can even touch and see how it might be a little softer. Soften your vision, close the eyes, and connect to stillness and silence. Rest. I'll mind the time and I'll tell you when it's time to come back. Slowly bring your awareness back. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers. Gently separate the knees. Heel toe the feet closer together. Allow some light back into the eyes. And come back over to your side in fetal position. Push the hands into the floor and come back to a comfortable seated position. Place the hands at the heart. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Bring some awareness to the hip area, the front of the hips, and notice, observe how that feels. I thank you for sharing your practice with me today, for allowing me to guide you. May your hips feel a little more open and relaxed.